Hey, I'm Joe Stewart. This is my dad, Rob Stewart, winemaker at R. Stewart and Co. Winery, and we're sitting around taking a look at some of the current, recent release Single Vineyard Pinot Noirs. As you might be at home doing some wine tasting here, as we're all hunkered down. Dad, what are the wines that we're tasting here tonight?
So what I'm going to show tonight is we'll start with the 2017 Weber and then move into the 2017 Daffodil Hill with the idea that these are two of the components that go into the 2017 Autograph. So let's taste away. Start with Weber on the our left, your right. Salud.
Salud. So what's the first thing that is going to jump out to most people about the 2017 Weber?
Weber is always about spice. The vineyard, which is an 85 planting of Pomar clone Pinot Noir on its own roots, always has this spiciness to it. So think nutmeg, cinnamon, tamarind, that kind of spice. A little bit of tannin on the finish,
Sure.
but lots of big dark fruit and maybe a little floral component.
So the Weber is from the Dundee Hills, the Daffodil Hills from the Eola Amity Hills.
Correct.
Thanks. Well, what is it about these AVAs that are strong for blending and going into the autograph?
Well, they're very distinctive and they can stand on their own. Pinot Noir is all about terroir, about the place where the fruit comes from. So very, very important. But the idea here is to take really unique Pinot Noir, and then in the end make an even better wine from these components, if you will. So let's move on to the Daffodil Hill, which is our estate vineyard in Eola Amity. So you can tell the aromatics are very different into the Daffodil Hill. Lots of herbal component, not so much spicy. So rosemary, maybe lavender, and followed up by a really intense dark cherry, which I see a lot of dark cherry
Sure.
in Eola Amity. And then, of course, this dusty earth. Those are components that are in Daffodil Hill no matter the vintage, year after year. What's interesting is that these two wines are both on volcanic soil. So Jory is the series. It's a lava flow, decomposed basalt from many years ago, and it's interesting. Both Pinot Noir. This Daffodil Hill happens to be two clones, Dijon 667 and Dijon 114. The 667 gives you this nice, that round middle palate, and the 114 gives you the structure of acid and tannin.
And with the Daffodil Hill, I mean, this is one that, I mean, both of these vineyards you've been buying from for a long time. And how have they gone from year to year, particularly the Daffodil Hill, as far as consistency compared to the 2017s?
Well, 2017 was a fairly moderate vintage, at least from my perspective. I've seen these flavor and aromatic components every year, and that's what makes these vineyards distinctive, is they remain constant in their flavor, aromatics, structure. It's just whether it's a cold year or warm year that makes a difference. So I would say 2011 was a very cold vintage, and Daffodil Hill still came through with these kinds of characteristics. In a warm vintage, same characteristics. It's just the acid tends to be lower in warm vintages. The acid is spot on in the 2017 vintage.
Excellent. Well, so the Autograph, of course, every year, as it is named, that is your signature wine for the year, your blend of your favorite Pinot Noirs from all the different single vineyards around the Willamette Valley. What's special about this year's Autograph?
Well, the components change. We work with the same components, and there are 8 what I call single vineyard designated Pinots, reserve Pinots. The intensity of the fruit is always there, but it changes from year to year. And what we tended to do, because 2017 was more of a moderate vintage, is play the warmer sites. So this particular blend of Autograph is 63% Daffodil Hill, and it happens to have 8% Weber, and there are a couple of other wines in there. But Weber being Daffodil Hill being a very warm site, obviously it plays an important role in the balance of Autograph. Autograph is about complexity. It's about, from beginning to end, having a long palate, if you will. So let's taste it. Sláinte.
Sláinte.
So what you might notice is it's not as concentrated, if you will, as Daffodil Hill, but it has more length from beginning to end. You can barely pick out the spice, which is the intention of the Weber. You can get the round middle palate of the Daffodil, but it's not as intense in the black cherry.
What is it about the Autograph this year that makes this edition complex, as you like the Autograph to be?
It's about looking at all these different single vineyard designated Pinots and making a better wine than what we started with. It's was it Pythagoras? The sum is greater than the what is it?
I don't know. It's been
the sum is greater than the sum of the parts.
Okay.
Something like that.
The whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got you.
Joe Pythagoras here.
So, what would you really, as far as these single vineyards, or just kind of a summary of the 2017 vintage for the Pinot Noirs at all, what do you think that a lot of people at home, as they're tasting these, are going to be noticing, and what do you think will stand out as some of the favorites among these single vineyard releases?
Well, I think we make different Pinot Noir, and they will strike a chord with different people, depending on what they like about a wine. What's unique about the 17 vintage, it's kind of like what we talk about now in the olden days, so pre-2012.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we make Pinot Noir in Oregon is because it's a slightly cooler climate, and it reflects more what the olden days used to be about. So you're going to expect higher acid and more obvious fruit, and a little lower alcohol. That's what the 17 vintage is all about.
There you go. Well, thanks for joining us to check out the 2017 Weber Vineyard Pinot Noir, the 2017 Daffodil Hill Pinot Noir, and the 2017 Autograph Pinot Noir. You can check out all of these on our website at rstewartandco.com, as well as all of your other R. Stewart & Co. favorites, and of course, order these directly online through our shipping. Thanks so much for joining us.